In 1845, São Paulo, marked by the luxury of nobility and the pain of slavery, lived a man who seemed to have it all: the title of duke, lands, prestige. But behind the gilded salons and formal dinners, Joaquim de Albuquerque carried a wound that not even time could heal. He had lost his wife in childbirth with their youngest daughter. Alone with a 2-year-old girl in his arms and his heart in ruins, he simply wanted a nanny for his daughter, a girl who, at 2 years old, already bore the pain of an early farewell to her mother. Little did he know that by purchasing a young slave, his fate and that of his little girl would be changed forever in ways not even the wildest dreams could have foreseen. In 1845 Brazil, amid the luxury and conventions of the São Paulo nobility that treated people as property, this rash decision would be the thread of a story that would defy everything. A story of secrets, courage, and a love that refused to be imprisoned. Duke Joaquim de Albuquerque y Melo, a man accustomed to having the world at his feet, found himself on his knees before the greatest pain a heart can endure: the loss of his beloved wife during the birth of their second child. At 32, the life he knew fell apart, leaving him with a 2-year-old daughter, Aurora, a little angel who, since her mother's departure, had lived in incessant tears. No wet nurse could soothe that pain, and Joaquim's desperation led him to the slave market, a place he had always avoided but which now became his last hope. It was there, amidst a hubbub and resignation, that his eyes met those of Isadora, a 24-year-old woman who, with her beauty and intriguing bearing, seemed to carry not only secrets, but the silent promise of a new beginning. The Duke's mansion, once a place of laughter, now echoed with Aurora's emptiness and pain. 3 nurses had already failed to soothe the girl's cries, as she refused to eat or sleep. But when Isadora, with her soft voice and a gaze that seemed to see into the soul, knelt before the little girl, something different began to happen. Aurora, previously suspicious, stopped crying upon hearing an African melody, a lullaby as old as the stars, sung with a tenderness Joaquim never imagined he would find. Gradually, laughter returned to the house, and the girl began to eat again and seek Isadora's embrace. In every gesture, in every word, the young slave demonstrated a wisdom and sensitivity that defied her condition, making Joaquim question not only who she was, but everything he thought he knew about life and love. But it was one October night, with the mansion immersed in silence, that Joaquim accidentally heard voices coming from Aurora's room. Curious, he approached, and what he saw left him breathless. Isadora was there, not just singing a lullaby, but teaching her little daughter to read. Perplexity gave way to shock. Teaching a slave to read was a crime, a risk Isadora, with her intelligence and grace, was taking. But the greatest surprise would come soon after, when confronted. Isadora revealed the truth behind her deep eyes and delicate hands. She was not a slave by right, but a free woman, kidnapped and illegally sold. In that moment, Joaquim's world, built on certainties and conventions, turned upside down. He had not purchased property, but rather an imprisoned soul, a treasure of courage and wisdom that now forced him to question everything he believed. Isadora's revelation echoed in Joaquim's mind like thunder, shattering the barriers of his privileged existence. He found himself before a woman who, even under the veil of slavery, possessed a dignity and intelligence that made him question the laws and values of his own society. Instead of punishing her for daring to teach Aurora to read, he encouraged her, demonstrating a surprising departure from the norm. As he investigated Isadora's true story, confirming her kidnapping and the brutality of her false slavery, Joaquim realized that what he felt for her went far beyond gratitude. It was a profound admiration, a respect that blossomed into something he dared not name, but which transformed grief into a new, unexpected hope. With each passing day, Isadora not only nourished Aurora's soul, but also unlocked the Duke's own, revealing to him a world where the heart dictated the rules, not conventions. With the truth revealed and the bonds of deep affection forming, Joaquim saw in Isadora not only a woman free by right, but the soulmate his widowed heart longed for. After months of pain and reconnection with life, he could no longer imagine a future without Isadora and, above all, without Aurora's smile, which had blossomed under her care. The Duke, a man of wealth and status, knelt before her, an unthinkable gesture for the time, and offered not only freedom, but also his heart and that of his daughter. The proposal was marriage, a union that would defy law, society, and prejudice. Isadora, with tears in her eyes, accepted. It was not just out of love for him, but for an even greater love, that of belonging to a family she herself would choose, a family where respect and dignity would flourish, overcoming any barriers the world imposed. The wedding, discreet and intimate in the state's chapel, with Aurora radiant as maid of honor, was a celebration of a love that dared to defy the impossible. São Paulo society, of course, reacted with scandal and rejection. Noble families turned their backs. Social clubs closed their doors, and many businesses were affected. But amidst the storm, something even more profound happened. The true value of bonds was revealed. Faithful friends remained, and new and courageous alliances emerged, proving that Joaquim and Isadora's love and courage inspired others to question the prejudices of an era. And most importantly, Aurora, that girl once immersed in sadness, grew up in a home overflowing with love, respect, and unshakable values, building a solid foundation for the strong woman she would become. Years passed, and Aurora, the girl who once mourned her mother's absence, grew into an educated, confident young woman and a passionate voice for social justice, just as her parents inspired her to be. She often told her family's story, a living testament to the fact that true love knows no barriers. My father bought a slave to care for me, but discovered he had bought a treasure. My mother lost her physical freedom, but gained a family that would love her forever. And I gained the bravest and most intelligent mother a girl could have. The story of Joaquim and Isadora, the Duchess and Duke who defied prejudice, became a legend in São Paulo, a beacon of hope that illuminated other lives. They built schools for black children, fought for the freedom of other former slaves, and proved, with each passing day, that freedom comes in many forms: physical, intellectual, emotional, and that true love, the kind that sees beyond skin color and social standing, is the most powerful force for transforming lives and entire societies. And you, who are following us on this emotional journey, from which city are you watching this timeless story? Which part touched your heart the most? Is there anything more moving than seeing someone fight injustice for a love that transcends everything? If the story of Joaquim and Isadora touched your soul, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more stories that prove how true love has the power to transform lives and even entire societies. Because, deep down, we all deserve to believe that our humanity is worth far more than any label the world tries to impose on us.